definitely enjoy it, but also be careful if you are going to be in that car, because warmer temperatures, they could rise quickly and become very dangerous inside of a car within minutes. So let's break it down with the Weather Channel's scorching car scale so we can see what's going on. We're going to start you out in Chicago, where we can see that temperature tomorrow will be about 80 degrees, and you know, that's not too bad, but when you're in the car, it's going to be a lot hotter. So after 10 minutes, we're talking close to 100 degrees already, and then it goes past that once we're in there for about 30 minutes, about 114 degrees. So remember to look before you lock. Make sure there's no pets in the car, there's no kids in the car. Now let's head on over towards DC. And if you're in the car for 103 minutes after tomorrow's high of 84, oh yeah, then we are definitely going to be dealing with that temperature about 103 degrees. So 10 minutes, 103 degrees, and then 30 minutes close to 120 degrees. So you get the picture. It's warm on the outside, hot on the outside, but of course it's going to be much hotter inside that car. And that doesn't matter whatever season you're in, whatever time of the year, it's always going to be much hotter in that car. Speaking of the hot conditions for today, not too bad. I'll take that 75 in New York and even the 78 in DC, but these temperatures are going to continue to go up as well. We're also working with today a fire danger, so we do have those red flags, that red flag warning, I should say, for all the areas here shaded in the red coloring and that orangish coloring. So we're dealing with relative humidity, and we're also dealing with some very gusty winds out there for today. So if you're a smoker, really don't want to throw that butt outside the window today. Try to discard it more discreetly somewhere that's more safe for sure. In terms of high pressure, yes, this is the culprit really of why we're really going to be dealing with plenty of warm air, hot in fact, as we can see that jet stream well up to the north right there. We're going to continue with this bubble, and also it will continue to work its way on off towards the east. So it will get much warmer as we work our way towards the north and east as well. Down off towards the south, we will have some cooler air. That's all courtesy of this area of low pressure that Steph's going to talk about a little later. But in the meantime, we are going to be about 10 to 30 degrees above average. Where you're looking at the 30 degrees is where you're looking at the pink colorings there. But even 10 to 20 degrees above average is going to be on the warm side, in fact. So it's like you're kind of missing spring and going straight to summer in some of these spots. And with that, we do have some potential record highs out there as well, where you saw all those dots. So this extends back off towards the plains, across to the northeast as well. And the first 80 in the mid-Atlantic, the earliest we could see March, February, down through January. But a lot of us, Philly, you're still looking pretty good. You're pretty much on track, as we can see that around April 19th. So Steph, tell us about the storms that could be happening around the Gulf Coast.
Well, what's really interesting is we have this jet stream that goes way to the north of us, all the way up into Canada. Gets all the way into the northeast. You see those clouds into the northeast in New York, New England area? Then it actually sweeps back this way, rounds out, and goes east. So can you see that? I know it's a little hard to the untrained eye, but essentially you want to focus on the part that sweeps around right here. This is what's going to be our weather for the next several days. You can see our isobaras, how they close off to the west, and off to the east, they're wide open. But as I put this in motion, you'll see those are going to close, and we will get low pressure coming into the south. But it's also going to mean an onshore flow for a lot of us here all the way into Florida. And so that moisture is going to basically rain out for the next several days. Friday, we start to see improvements as our next system, our next trough comes in and kicks everything out. And that's what you need to happen. You actually need something to move this low that's cut off from the flow. So it's going to take some time. With that said, we have rain, places like the Space Coast. We're on this date in 1970. Apollo 13 launched. We know what happened with that. They had everything shut down. They were freezing. There was a little oxygen, the whole thing. They thankfully got back from that. We will see storms today, still an onshore flow here on the east coast of Florida, so we have to watch out for rip current. But watch in the Gulf, you see that moisture? That pulls ashore into places like New Orleans, where we're 7 inches below average. We could see flooding there. We could see flooding in Mobile, as we are 4 inches below average through Thursday morning and through Friday morning. It all moves east. We do have that potential for thunderstorms for our Thursday, and watch how everything kind of moves north. Thursday is really, really a wet day. Friday, we're pretty wet and cloudy, but Jordan, towards the end of the day, we start to clear out.
Severe weather, but we do have that potential out there as we will have the scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go in through the middle of the week into late week. This is the system that will be there, but this system does start back off towards the west and it will continue to work its way on off towards the east. This upper level system. So again, we're going to be watching for that low to form around the Gulf. So we do have a lot going on, a lot of moving parts with this, and a lot of the moving parts, the fact too that we're dealing with plenty of warm air, and that warm air is really going to surge on off to the north. So instead of us really getting a lot of snow out of this, because the cold air is not going to be available so much, with that said, we still will get some snow, but just we will get more of the warmth for sure as we move in through your Thursday and also your Friday. So on the backside, yeah, we will have a little bit of snow, and that snow will continue to shift on off towards the east. So this is what I'm talking about. So look at the Euro model at this point. We can see back off towards Montana, so around Billings, or even around portions of Wyoming, Casper in on this as well. But then you look down off towards Colorado, you can see some of those purples there, and then we see the purples around Marquette as well. So look at that, and now contrast this with the GFS model. Still looking pretty good around Aspen, but look as we head over towards the upper Midwest, around International Falls, Duluth, Minneapolis, they're starting to get a little bit more bullish, the GFS, in terms of more snow. So again, as we head into your Friday, this and your Saturday, everything will continue to shift on off towards the east, but the bottom line is that we will see plenty of rain, and before it's all said and done on your Sunday, it ends up across the northeast. Jordan, of today. So it could be impacted as we continue to travel here with that big bird. Things right now looking pretty good. So from the west coast all the way to the east coast, we have the green on at this point. But remember, things could be changing as we go through time, because we are going to start to see bigger changes out there as we have more activity really bubbling up throughout the day. So we do have problems around Miami, so we could see some impacts there as we go into the afternoon. Where you're seeing those yellows, just make sure you go ahead and call to see if we do have those delays. But all in all, not a bad looking forecast. We will continue to watch the fact that we do have that rain out there. We will have some windy conditions as well. So if you are going to be traveling, make sure you have both hands on the steering wheel. We can see what's happening now around Florida, Miami. You have been in the thick of it really all morning long with that easterly wind, that onshore flow, that push really putting in that rain along 95. West Palm Beach, we're in it around Fort Lauderdale as well. So the scattered showers and thunderstorms will be out there. Again, those gusty winds are going to be prevalent. And temperature-wise, though, always trying to find that silver lining. At least those numbers will be in the mid-70s. Steph.
Yes, 5-6 feet above average for some of us. Minneapolis, the third snowiest winter on record, and there's still a lot of snow on the ground, anywhere from Wisconsin, Minnesota, back towards Montana, Wyoming, and the northern plains as well. These warmer temperatures are going to lead to some of that melt, and we are going to see those rivers rising up as we head over the next couple of days. Fog, actually, with our dew points above freezing, that can eat away at the snow fairly quickly. Rainfall as well, warmer winds, and notice warm temperatures and direct sunlight are at the bottom of the list. Doesn't mean they don't do the job, but they are at the bottom of the list. There's other things that can actually really eat away at it. So highs today will be in the mid-80s. It is just wild how warm it is for us here. Tomorrow gets even hotter into Nebraska, the 90s. Here's our boundary coming through. There's going to be some cooler air. We're actually going to flip to below average behind the system, and you see those temperatures really coming down into Bismarck, where we're only going to be at 41 degrees. So we have quite the reversal here of fortune. With that said, we do have a lot of river gauges that are minor to moderate, but watch what happens as we go into our forecasted flood stage. We will see a lot of them go into moderate and even major. And by the way, the flood levels could be the worst we've seen in over 20 years in parts of the Mississippi River from Minnesota down towards Iowa. This is where we do have the biggest concern, with everything rising and really dumping into the Mississippi River, goes into the Gulf of Mexico. As we go west, we have the Continental Divide, and anything west of that goes to the Pacific. Jordan, all of that snow, melt, and rain that we've had could cause some problems here into California.
No, definitely. Where Vice President of Horticulture at Frederick Meyer Gardens and Sculpture Park. So thank you for being with us. And I know this is a temporary exhibit, debuted, but what, 30 years ago, and has since become the biggest in the U.S. What can people expect to see?
So they can expect to see
from beautiful butterflies that we're already showing there on screen. Explain some of the new exploration stations that guests can get.
Important to keep this 5-story conservatory at 85 degrees with 70% humidity.
Yeah, so all of these.
You've experienced this and you had any guidance for me. My nephew Loves animals, obsessed with animals. Take him to the zoo, and he's
That's awesome.
so excited,
Yeah.
loves it. Go inside one of these butterfly exhibits where you go in and they're all, he panics, can't do it. Is like, absolutely not. I asked him the last time I took him to the zoo, you know, Ferris, do you want to go? And he's like, no, thank you. And we went on to the penguins or whatever it was. Do you have any tips for, you've seen people maybe or little kids getting scared going into these types of exhibits?
Yeah, you know, it can be a little startling for some people, especially.
You got even human butterflies.
I know,
That was
I saw
really
that.
cool. Steve LeWare with incredible landscapes. So much to learn about there. If you can make it there, make it happen. So many times we have all these places we want to go, and we're just like, oh, I want to go there, and don't make it happen. Make it happen. Just plan it. Have someone else plan it for you. If you're planning to go to New Orleans, great city. Love visiting New Orleans. It's going to be a little bit rainy, but don't let that stop you. I mean, the food is great. The history is interesting. There's all sorts of stuff to see there, and we need the rain really here, so you don't want to kind of say don't come here, because we're about 7 inches below average on rainfall. But of course, all it takes is one hurricane and we are, you know, several feet above average. Today we'll see kind of on and off clouds and showers. As we head into tomorrow, that's when we will see a bigger, heavier batch of rain move in and then stick around as we head through the day, washing away all of the partying you did the night before, perhaps. We will see some solid totals here, a couple inches for us, and that's really along the I-10 corridor all the way down into South Florida. Past 7 days have been wet here. We've been showing you all the flooding that's been occurring there the past 48 hours. We've seen a lot of rain, onshore flow, bringing those showers, also the rip current, the high tides, the waves, all of it. We'll see rain as we go through the day today, again into South Florida. And as we roll into our Wednesday, heavier stuff coming down, making its way all the way up towards Lake Okeechobee. And the past 7 days have been wet from Louisiana, really northern Mississippi, over into the Carolinas as well. And we are going to take you down into Mississippi, where it's really going to be quite pleasant on Thursday with the 70s. It's only a matter of time before it is hot and humid and you just can't take it outside. Mobile, Alabama, we're about 4 inches below average. Of course, this is where Mardi Gras all started. And Friday, we will see the highs of 81. At least a friend told me that, who's from Mobile. I have to look up the history of that, but I think I did once, and it seems as if it started there. Atlanta, showers and thunderstorms will be here all the way through our Friday night, and then things are going to clear out, which is nice. So things will be improving as we head into our weekend. Lynette.
All right, Steph.